What's up, fight fans? We're looking like the real Unabomber up in this bitch. The Subriel Matias and Liam Parro are about to drop bombs. Join me as we break down this matchup that will be taking place in Puerto Rico June 15th. I'm going to be showing some live footage on Liam Parro and Subriel Matias. We're also going to touch on Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. So we're looking like the Unabomber up in here because we going to drop bombs today here at Round 1 Sports Talk. Join me. So what's up, fight? I am your host, Edwin. It's on and popping. Well, we are soon approaching the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fight. 420. It looks like everything's on schedule. Ryan Garcia is always, to his usual self. It seems like, social media popping off, declaring that he's never going to go back on social media. Very next day, back on it. You know, Ryan, man. One thing for sure, he's really making this interesting, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. However you see it, people seem to be tuning in. So they're about to go into their little bout. I'm gonna touch on that in a little while. First, I want to get into Subriel Matias and Liam Parro. The more I look up this guy, Liam Parro, the more I'm starting to think this guy is a real live dog. Okay. We're gonna break down some of their fighting styles and what really Liam Paro brings to the table here. Let's just remember that once upon a time he was scheduled to fight Regis Progress, Liam Paro. That fight never materialized because of the fact that Liam Paro he suffered an injury. He was sidelined for like a year. I think it was an Achilles heel, I believe it was back then, and he was sidelined. So Liam Parro has been looking for those big fights. He has been looking for his opportunities and his moments. Hold on one second. Okay, yeah, and I think that his opportunity has arrived, and for the most part, uh, I think that uh, I think that Liam Parro has proven himself to be a worthy opponent. I really believe, yes, he deserved this fight. Not like other fighters in other fights, where that sometimes the guy that doesn't deserve the fight gets the fight, and the guy that deserves it, really never gets his crack. He gotta keep, you know, pushing forward. But Liam Paro deserves to be here. He's the WBO global champion. He's undefeated. And let's take a look, what Liam Paro's about. Before I bring up their fighting styles up on the screen and everything, I'm gonna break down Liam Paro's career record right now. He has 24 fights with 15 knockouts, and he's undefeated. He has a 62% knockout ratio, and he's only 28 years old. What makes Liam Paro a difficult opponent too, I believe, always for any fight, is a southpaw, right? He's at 5'8" and he has a 71-inch arm reach, which is pretty good for a 5'8" guy, right? He's almost 5'9". He's like 5'8" and a half. So Liam Paro is definitely size quality. Let's take a look at how he fights. And that's what I really want to look at. And we're gonna take a look at that right now. All right. This is one of the highlights of Subriel Matias right here. And I'm gonna bring up Subriel Matias right now so that hold on. Oh, Okay, it won't let me do that. All right. I'm gonna bring up Subriel Matias, and I want you guys to see Subriel Matias' fighting style too as well. And let me show you this. Let me get a bit more better control of what's going on here, because okay.
Protéjase siempre. Good luck.
Woo!
You can't do that.
And these boys is cracking
Like those
themselves.
punches have nothing behind them, but he hit so hard.
Last 4 fights, so he's used to this.
Hear
There's
the
that uppercut.
thuds on the punches.
The left Landsberger digs downstairs, so does Matias. Matias again looking to take advantage of the career-long layoff. The fact that he's faced about 25% of the time, which is...
His pressure is relentless. He just keeps that pressure. When you think you're going to breathe, he doesn't let you breathe. Look at the volume of punches. It just keeps coming.
This lighter will give you fire no matter what Mother Nature throws at you. This new incredible electric dual...
Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Look at that jab. Just flick it. Bang, bang. Boom.
Bending over, it's going to be opening himself up to those opponent to date as we reach round 6.
Nice. Corner stoppage. Now in this fight right here, when Subriel Matias went into this fight with this gentleman right here, he was considered one of the 140 pounders threats. You know, he was a really big puncher. He was a real knockout artist type of fighter that has one punch knockout power. And all his power, Subriel Matias basically walked through his best shots, cornered him in, and applied his pressure. That is Subriel Matias' game. If you think you're just gonna go in there and just go straight at Subriel Matias with a volume, many fighters have already tried that same, pressure style. Liam Parro doesn't have that pressure style. He has a bit better kind of style. From what I've seen from him, and we're gonna take a look, and I want you to take an eye test with me yourself. So we're gonna continue on watch. And that was Subriel Matias, the way he fights. Now I want you to take a look at, look at, this is Liam Parro's last fight. This is upcoming prospect Montana Love. Now Montana Love is a decent 140 pounder. Okay, he's making his way. He's starting to develop himself as a fighter, but so isn't Liam Paro. So this fight in particular right here, I thought it was going to be really good, right? But I didn't think that Liam Paro was going to win this fight against Montana Love. Let's see what he looked like against Montana Love.
That shot during that fight he caught.
See, there's that shot. I looked at it, I swear.
You know, the crowd already anxious for the match.
There's a left. Parro came hungry in this fight, you know what I'm saying? Anybody, if he's sticking that jab out there,
he got that nice jab.
Gonna get way more,
and he's got good footwork. Look, he doesn't lean too far in, but he knows Montana's going back. That's a nice shot right there. Ooh, that was slick uppercut. Did you see that? He sat him down. He is not intimidated by the moment. This fight right here, he was fighting in the U.S. Boom, boom. He's got Montana and all kinds, and the referee had to come in and save him. That's what happened in that fight. Look at that. See that slick uppercut?
Here's a second knockdown, straight left shot right there.
Wow. And he's got one punch knockout power. You see? See what I'm saying? You know, he looks strong. He looks strong. He has a good understanding of, his distance. When he was on the attack against Montana Love, he was also paying attention on offense coming back. You could see it in his eyes that he wasn't locked in, so focused that he could get caught with something big. At the whole time he had Montana Love in all kinds of trouble, he still was alert, and you could see it. If Montana flinched, he was going to either block or counter or slip it. whatever the situation called for. And I like that about Liam Paro. Liam Paro shows that he's a fighter. Every fight that I've went back and looked, although to be honest with you, I've only seen one of his fights, and that was the Montana Love fight. That was it. The rest, live anyway. I had to go back and look him up, um, and then remember who he was, right? Because it didn't even dawn on me that that was him fighting Montana Love, to be perfectly honest with you. Okay. And then I was like, oh, that's that guy. And then boom, then the wheels got rolling once I knew he was Subriel Matias's opponent. So, Liam Paro, he's a live dog. He's a live dog in this fight. And the more I look him up, now coming closer into the fight, I'm starting to be like, yeah, this is gonna be a good fight right here. Let's take, we can't judge him on one fight, right? So let's see what Subriel does. Let's see what Subriel Matias looks like. Other kinds of opponents. Okay.
Touch up.
These shots
This is
from
Pedro
Matias. And now Matias starting to let his hands go.
Subriel Matias.
Matias though into the body. And there you see blood pouring all over the face of Ananian. Just as he thought he was going upstairs, and another one up continues. Back to the body and a huge left hook. You could just see the body language on Ananian. And Ananian is really succumbing to a lot of these shots.
As a puncher, is that you really can't tell where the punches are coming from. That's what I'm starting to realize what makes him really effective, right? Throws it from the hip. So it could either be a body shot or he could just bring it right up. He'll throw 2 body shots and get you thinking body, and you'll go down to the body and he'll just snap it up top and rattle your head. So it's really difficult to figure because they're coming from here. It's not like if he's like this and you could see it coming this way. You see, his punches are coming from down here. You don't know which one's coming, the right, the left. You don't know if he's going down or if he's going up. And that's what really makes Subriel really dangerous and effective, because not a lot of fighters can always pull that off. You could fake it, but Subriel seems to be really fluent at it. That's his natural fighting style. You can tell that's how he decided the fight's gonna go. And when Subriel starts off the fight in the high guard like this, and then all of a sudden, 3rd round, his hands are down here. He's coming in. He's coming in. He's coming for that ass. Listen, every time he does it, check it out.
By the straight right hand, just looked absolutely tremendous, and there's a big left hook.
Let me remind you, just in case for the fight fans, that are coming to my channel to also be educated and learn. This is the individual that took his first defeat, his first loss. This is Pedro Anania, right? Now, to be perfectly honest with you, in that fight they gave Subriel Matias a standing 8 count. I remember quite some time ago, one of my subscribers said, the referee can't save you anymore. And I was like, I don't think that's so. It depends what state you're in and what rules you're under. I was pretty, and he had me thinking. And in the Subriel Matias fight, in fact, the referee gave him a standing 8 count. He felt that he took too much damage, and he came in, halted the action, and then they showed Subriel Matias on the ropes like this, like going like, nah. And it was because of that bullshit ass standing 8 count, they awarded this guy the win. That was the deciding factor in the fight, because the fight was really close. Mind you, Subriel was coming off the last fight in previous 2 fights against Mad Match Derechek, where he fatally died in the ring. That was in Subriel Matias's mind, and he had to do a lot of soul searching. You could see that he was a little fatter, a little out of shape in their first fight. He didn't look nothing like the man that showed up on this night in their second fight. And this is what happened on their second fight.
Will continue, and that is the end of the round. And the fight is all over.
made him quit.
As he gets redemption, there was that big left hook. There was multiple times where it just looked like he was going to go continuing on, like they were going to proceed to that 10th round. But
See
this
what I'm
one was
talking
the
about?
one
You
that
don't know if
finally...
it was going to go to the body or to the top.
Matias. At all times. Touch him up. Back you go. Best of luck.
And I repeat,
Now, I don't know nothing about this guy, Liam Parro's
90%
fighting
of
right
their
here, to be
fighters
honest with you.
are
I don't know nothing about him. All I
putting them
know
through
is
the
that
paces.
Liam
Him and
Parro
obviously Justin
put his
Frost,
hands on him.
12 knockouts in 19 wins. Terry's best 3 performances. Mightn't be best 3.
He needs to make him messy. It's good left hand there, just catching the mark.
Next time, it has to be a point.
It has to be.
Wrestles and clashes. And
Terry, very unorthodox, but
get the feeling Liam is going to just...
started to
Here's
the head,
that
finished
nice
to the body.
straight right.
He just dropped him there with a...
Not
left,
lose
sorry.
another one of them.
Use any power and change the course of this fight as Liam. Yeah, a couple of good combinations. And time is starting to slip away for Zeramanis. Defend yourself, otherwise I'm stopping it. Zeramanis on the retreat
This
once
is how
again.
you have to take care of these
He's
kind
been
of
declared the
opponents.
winner
though.
by
If they put you in
TKO.
these kind of fights right here, this is what you got to do. And he against that style of opponent right there. You know, I have to admit.
Touch gloves, do it now.
Oh, this is a
God bless.
classic right here. This is sorry if I mess up his name, Jukembai. Bay. Man, can you guys say that name right there? Yo. But this was a really strong opponent right here for Subriel Matias. This is one of the guys that I believe cracked the hardest. He was a real tough man inside of this ring, real type fighter. You're gonna have to break him down. Going into this fight right here with Jukembai, I knew that Subriel Matias was gonna have a hard time, but not until the fight started did I really realize how strong Jukembai was. I can't lie. Coming out of the first round, I was a bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh shit. You know, the first round of this fight right here, he just looked like he wasn't there to back down. And he looked really strong and imposing. But the one thing that Subriel Matias does well to every man that he comes up against, he breaks them down. He broke Jukem. Man, listen. Pay attention. Watch this.
Jukembai, because all the belts are held as their sights set on him. No,
Yo, that uppercut is so fast. It's like lightning.
Jukembai pushes him off.
And the
He
one
enjoys
thing he
this.
does really
To be
well,
able to
Subriel
push
Matias,
around
he changes up the
Jukembai
speed
just
of his
on the
punches.
straight left. There's a right to the body, a left hook upstairs. The neck percentage in the power punching department. Third down. Jukembai, if there's a left hook, and down goes Jukembai. And here is...
And he gets up after that. I believe he goes two, 3 more rounds after that. More than that.
There's a big left hook. Look at that. The fact that he is
Ooh. Just breaking him down. Just like a tree. Just look. Subriel looks fresh. Look at him.
With the TKO win.
Boom. See? He looks great. He looks fresh.
Self-jury thoughts in the commentary box alongside Paro to lose, Nathan.
Yeah, definitely so. These opening
Boxing here tonight to check him out as well. And
He goes upstairs, downstairs. He switches up his punches. He tries to go around the guard. He does work the body good.
most likely they'll pay those another good lower percentage punches.
I haven't seen him go up against a guy's pressure like Subriel Matias' pressure. That I haven't seen in any of his opponents. As you can see, none of these guys that he's fighting are like a Subriel Matias kind of pressure. These guys are like, you know, trying to box him. He's just a better boxer. I can admit to that. In these situations, he can crack, right? But for the most part, these guys are really already lost the fight to him. As you can see by these points in the fight. You know, they're basically allowing him to do whatever he wants. Subriel will never do that. And the fight's not going to look like that at all. No. This is a fucking fight. Now, let me tell you guys, fight fans. Hold on. So just in case you're in a situation where that you're in a conversation, they're saying, oh, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, they're better 140 pounders, right? That Devin Haney is a better star. What I don't give a fuck about any of that. What boxing entails is who's the best fighter. I don't care about who the best star is. Who's the best fighter? Okay. Now, all these guys you just witnessed, Subriel Matias fought, none of these top dudes that have belts have fought any of these guys. This kid right here, Jumir Ponce right here, he's a real threat. And I'm pretty sure if he was to ever fight Teofimo Lopez, and if I was a betting man, my money would be on Ponce, bro. I would legitimately put a bet on Ponce against Teo. Yeah. This dude right here is no joke. He was currently undefeated coming into the fight against Subriel Matias. Mind you, just before this fight against Subriel Matias, right, which was for the vacant Josh Taylor IBF title, when they stripped Josh Taylor, this was the fight that they were fighting in for the belt, the IBF, right? Okay. So I want you to just an eye test. I want you to look at it. Tell me what you think about this guy Ponce.
Fighter of the year written all over it. So a minute left in the second. Wow. And there's Matias with a left hook.
Of course, this is a Matias highlight, so they're going to show a lot of his work.
Because he's trading left hooks with Matias.
So they're going to show a lot of his moments, right? But if you have the time, go back and watch this fight. Matias just broke him down, upstairs, downstairs, uppercuts, just slide, and oh! He's just... Bang. You know, Subriel was relentless in this fight. The commentators all in the first round of this fight, they were saying that Ponce's volume and that Subriel wasn't prepared for this. He kept his calm, his composure. And look, for the first time in his career, he was on the mat. I bet he was asking himself, how the hell did I get here? Oh. If you don't got that kind of power that is like one punch knockout power and that you can get your respect off Subriel Matias early, you're not going to be able to get this guy off you.
Yeah, two great professionals, Nathan, both undefeated.
Yeah, very similar.
Leon Paro has good movement. He slips punches well. You know, at times his head can be a little stationary, but when he needs to, he can move his head. His footwork is decent. His footwork is real decent. And I've already seen his punching power. He does possess one-punch knockout power. He does. And by the way, I want to say what's up to everybody joining this live stream. How y'all doing? Ooh, nice body shot. You see how he got around that, right around his guard? He's a finisher, and he knows how to place his punches. You know, and just like I said, none of these guys are Subriel Matias, but this was a beating. This is one of Subriel Matias' earlier fights. And he was fighting against a Dominican fighter here. Dominican fighter tried to get tough. And Subriel just, Jesus. He told him, you're done, son. You're done. Look. Bang. And if you're going to stay up against the ropes like that, and sometimes it's just the power and the volume just shocks fighters. And they need a moment to think, to breathe. And he's not giving them that. Nice body shot. Boom. And He didn't see that body shot. That's why I heard it so much. When you can see the body shot, you're able to protect it. Oh, this was a good knockout by Liam Paro right here. I've seen this one. It's a good knockout. He puts him on his back. Boom. One punch knockout power. Yeah, one punch knockout power. That's what that was. So you've seen a little bit about Liam Parro. We know who Subriel Matias is, and we've seen some of his. Oh wait. Okay. All right, there we go. What's up, guys? So, what do you guys think? I think that Liam Barros is a worthy opponent. He's a live dog going into Puerto Rico. Um, you know, out of all the people that they could have picked, great fight, great opponent. Definitely no tomato can. This guy is here to win. He's putting everything on the line too. This is his first crack at a world title. It must be a very special moment for him, and you can tell that he wants this more than ever. More because he's willing to travel anywhere to achieve his goal. You know, you can tell fighters from other fighters like that. Some fighters don't want to take that kind of risk. Go into enemy's territory. It wasn't always the smartest thing to do. Especially on the judges' scorecards, they're always going to say something if the fight doesn't go your way, and if it goes to the scorecards, uh, so they're always going to say a lot of things about it. But Liam Paro, none of that is on his mind. The only thing that's on his mind is a great performance, and that hopefully we won't need the judges. That's what he's thinking. So Subriel Matias obviously has other plans. This is his time. This is his moment. These are his people. That's his country. Puerto Rico. You didn't work this hard to get all the way up here to shoot an egg, right? I can guarantee you one thing 100% fight fans that Subriel Matias is going to show up in this fight. Okay. And, you know, a strong performance can cause the other champions to cower away. Depending how he beats Liam Paro, other champions viewing that, they're gonna be like, oh hell no. But the one good thing about it, the main champion that I want him to fight will be out of the way by the time we reach June 15th, which would be Devin Haney. He'll be coming into his fight. And I believe that Devin Haney will be victorious. I'm hoping it's going to be a better fight. And I'm going to touch on that in a little bit. But for the most part, he'll be out of the way. And, we'll have a better view on what these champions are about. Because the world have already started to push for these kind of fights since 2023 when they started to give us some of these fights. Okay. I even heard that Dante Wilder is gonna fight Zhang in June 1st. And they kicked off a post thing. Dante Wilder, good for you. Get back on the horse. Hey, this is a brutal sport and it comes with wins and losses. You got to take the bad with the good all the time. So but thank you for checking in, fight fans. Let me check up on your message. Richard, what's up, baby? Salute. PR, Bam Bam, what's up? Much respect. Herbert, what's up? Hector, Ryan. Mattia doesn't throw 100%, but still heavy. His punches. So Brian Matias's punches, right, is a combination, right, of like it's a very hard thing to teach. And I pretty much think that you have to have a good concept and believe in your training to pull that kind of thing off. There's a lot of fighters that believe that just hard punching constantly will intimidate your opponent to go backwards, right? not Subriel Matias. Subriel Matias, he'll pop shot you a little bit. It'll be a little pop shots, but I've noticed that even those shots hurt, right? But they're not full speed and they're not full power. When Subriel Matias gets comfortable on the inside on you and he starts to see that his shots, and you can't judge where they're coming from because they're coming from down here. Once he starts to see his opening, he gets his timing, his distance, then he starts unleashing harder punchers. At times, it seems like Subriel Matias gets stronger as the fight continues. He he'll weather the storm. A lot of fighters have tried to come in on him with a volume of punches and a lot of pressure. He knows how to weather a storm and he knows how to look for his opportunities. But once you give him this much, bro, he just starts to go to work. So Brielle on the inside is a very dangerous fighter. But let's think how he gets there. You would think that another fighter would say, hey, let me not fight with Subriel Matias standing in the middle on the inside with him. Let me get on my bike and let me move. One thing that Subriel Matias does really well, and he doesn't use a lot of energy doing it, is stalking you and cutting off the ring. He finds a way, and if you're running too much, he's going to hit you on your arms, your shoulders, all this, because he's going to still put damage on you to slow you down. If you're running too much, he'll start to go to the body, and he'll entice you to fight. A lot of men want to fight Subriel Matias's ego because of the name that they've put on him, the boogeyman, right? And some of the last fighters that came in to fight him wanted to fight Subriel Matias's ego to show him, no, you're not stronger than me and I can hurt you. And that was their downfall. That was their downfall because they played right into Subriel Matias's hand. That's where he's the strongest. Right there is where he has you. Subriel's the kind of fighter that is basically wants to see what you're made of. You know, can you hit hard? Okay, you can hit hard, but I can crack hard too. Well, then let's just stand in this middle of the ring and let's see who the best man is. And he's on some shit like that. You see, Liam Parro, although I just watched his highlights with you guys, and I got to admit that, yes, he is a fighter. He's a good opponent, but yet he doesn't bring anything that I've seen that is just that much better than any of the last five guys Subriel has fought. All five guys that Subriel fought were quality guys, undefeated guys, contenders. Okay, these are men that had to win multiple fights to get in position to become Subriel Matias' mandatory. They're the top guys. Just like Liam Parro's getting this opportunity. He's one of the top guys. Well, he's one of the top guys that took the fight because there's bigger names, top guys. They just wasn't willing to go to Puerto Rico to fight Subriel Matias, so they passed on the fight. Not everybody's willing to enter Puerto Rico. That's why I commend Liam Parro for this. Liam Parro done said some shit, right? And his confidence is through the roof. He's an undefeated fighter. You're not gonna tell me that I'm a pro and they're talking up this guy like the boogeyman. Bro, you're gonna have to beat me. You're gonna have to show me. I need to find out. And Subriel Matias is gonna teach him who he really is and why they call him that. We're going to find out on June 15th. I tell you, it's going to be an exciting, electric fight. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in attendance. Hopefully, I can get a moment with Subriel or some of the fighters, bring that back to you guys. I will be in Puerto Rico for that fight. I can't wait for this fight. This fight is very big in so many different ways. And most importantly, the belt's on the line. The belt's on the line. I like that. It's not like you're fighting at a catch weight. Tim Zoo and Keith Thurman, we had that little thing going, and or Canelo Alvarez fighting Jermel Charlo. It's not another guy. No, these are actual guys that the IBF are giving these guys their opportunities at their belt. And if you're wondering, there's always a 10-pound rehydration claw for the IBF. So the most either fighter can weigh on fight night is 150. There's only a 10-pound rehydration claw. The IBF doesn't play that shit, cut weight and come in 30 pounds heavier. No, this is not your weight division. You should fight in your own weight division. That's what the IBF is on. You know, so I everything the stage is set. The stage is set, and I can't wait for this fight. Let me answer some of your questions. Let me see what you guys are talking about. You guys have a lot to say here. Devin Haney is a hype job. It was honestly a draw. It was. They robbed Matias in that. You know, I, I didn't. I think that Matias should be undefeated right now. He really should. But I talked about this, and in a way, I take that as a blessing. The loss for Matias. I take that as a blessing because, in this day of era where a lot of fighters are trying to protect their O and retire undefeated, it makes them hesitate sometimes to taking the big shot, the fights, or at some point in their career, they're not going to want to put it on the line because they're so close. You see, so Bria Matias has already tasted defeat. That's gone. He has no pressure of that. It frees him from the bonds of that stigma of being an undefeated fighter. And it allows him to take the big fights and to dare to be great. And honestly, I love it. I love the fact how he didn't shy away from the loss. He revenged his loss back in spectacular fashion. So Brian Matias destroyed Pedro Ananya that night. He made him quit. Bro, he had both his eyes flared up. Matias, when he told him, "You're gonna fight the real version of me tonight," he wasn't lying. He was telling the world that he was going through some shit with that Max Derrichek fight. We spoke about this. Listen, let me be honest with you guys. Subriel Matias has lived a very, you know, controversial lifestyle. Gangs, violence. He's been shot. He didn't seem to have a sense of direction, and had a little amateur boxing, but he took to the streets. And as a young man, grew up in Puerto Rico, respect, money, power, man, that can lead you down a bad path. In fact, it led him to jail. When he believed that it couldn't get worse, his older brother was killed. Right? Subriel Matias really went for social. He wanted a way out of this lifestyle. Enough was enough, and he turned to boxing. The one thing he was good at, boxing, and everything was working. He was winning. He was on a winning spree. He was knocking out all his opponents. Then all of a sudden, he comes into a fight with Mad Max Derrichek, and a tragic accident happens. Unfortunately, things like this occur in sports, in all sports. Okay? Subriel Matias was like, what am I doing wrong? Why is it everything I try in my life doesn't seem to work out? And the one thing I'm finally good at, this happens to me. Subriel Matias had to do a lot of soul searching. And as you can see, it affected him as an athlete. Coming into that first fight against Pedro Ananya, I have to admit, he didn't really look like himself. Later on, he admitted that he had to put himself together and get more focus, put down the drinking, the smoking, everything, because no matter how far he ran, he was never going to escape that night against Mad Max Derrichek. So what did he have to do? He had to embrace it. He had to accept what happened on that night. He had to make peace with it in order to move forward. So Bren Matias, every time he enters that ring, he has the spirit of Mad Max Derrichek with him. Mad Max would have wanted Subriel Matias to fight on for both of them. And every time he fights, he brings his brother and arms with him and the spirit of that man with him. That's got to be tough to keep everything together and to keep going forward while your family's looking at you saying, well, it happened to him, but what if it happens to you? You got to kiss your babies on the forehead and your wife and tell her that everything's going to be all right. She looks right back at you and says, I bet Mad Max's wife told her the same thing. He had to live with it, um, deal with the situation, embrace it, and making an agreement that he needed to go forward. And the memory of his own brother. All these things weigh on that young man and his fans, everybody, the pressure. And through all that, Subriel Matias found some way to pull it all together and to come back and perform the way he's performing. He really wants to be and go down as one of Puerto Rico's greatest champions. And in order to do that, he has to win these kind of fights and put himself in position to fight the big fights. Devin Haney and Bill Haney may say a lot of things, but I really believe that Devin Haney at some point will fight Subriel Matias. I'm not sure if Bill Haney really believes in his son that much, or they're going to try to age out Subriel Matias. That would be some real sucker shit. But I think that it would be a massive fight, and it probably would be the biggest fight for Subriel. But in a way, I wanted him to save Devin Haney for last. In a good world, first I would like him to go after Tio, Pitbull Cruz, and Isaac Cruz. Pitbull Cruz and Subriel Matias would be a great fight. And in a good world, he would fight Devin Haney last. But I'll take any of those fighters if I can get them right now. I'm not sure if Isa Pitbull Cruz will fight him or what, but I know that Subriel Matias has fought under the banner for the PBC. And Isa Pitbull Cruz is a PBC fighter. You know, and I understand at that time he wasn't signed to Metrum, Ed Hearns, and whatever. But, you know, if you want to fight bad enough, it can get done. It can get done. They'll find a way. They'll find a way to get along. Yes, they will. So yeah, fight fans. And then, you know, look, now that Subriel Matias is making a lot of noise, and it seems lately a lot of fighters, you know, are silently coming after him. Because if you haven't noticed, the only time these guys start talking the most is when Subriel Matias has a fight scheduled. You see, because he already got a fight scheduled. So that's when they start talking. That's when you start hearing Teofimo Lopez and his father, you know, they're a clown act themselves. You know, Teofimo Lopez at one time he was revered as a top prospect, and he became a champion. And we expected a lot from Teofimo Lopez. I gotta be honest with you, fight fans. I didn't expect him to be more bark than bite. I really thought that Teofimo Lopez was that dude and he was going to fight the top guys. It doesn't seem like that happened. And it seems after that loss with George Camboza, since then he really hasn't been the same, fucking mentally or not. You know, so I, I, I know what he said about Puerto Rican fighters, and in a good world, trust me, I would like to him to show me that against a fighter like Subriel Matias. He is a Puerto Rican fighter, and in fact, he's a champion. Tio, why don't you show us? Show us how easy it is. Why don't you sign the contract against Subriel Matias and give him a shot at that WBO title? If according to you, it's gonna be easy work. You should be able to walk away with Subriel Matias's belt, according to what you and your father say, that Subriel Matias is one dimensional. That's what they're saying. They're saying that you know what? Errol Spence Jr. was criticized for being a one-dimensional fighter, but it took the greatest fighter in the world and a lot of fucking situations, a lot of outside shit to beat him. You knew exactly what he was gonna do. You just couldn't beat him. Kind of like Subriel Matias. You know, we know his fighting style, right? It's just, you know, it's fighting against a fighter like Subriel Matias and trying to be a counterpuncher against a fighter like that, That shit's 50-50, bro. That shit's 50-50. And whichever guy really catches the other guy's movement, if he can tell that you're not moving your head enough and you're not dodging your punches, Subriel, and you let him in the front door, and you think at this point in the fight, perhaps it's like sixth, seventh, eighth round, and you think I'm gonna meet him head on and I'm gonna give him something hard, that's gonna be a mistake. That's gonna be a mistake. Subriel lives there. That's his bread and butter. That's how he became the IBF champion, and then some. You see, so it's gonna be real difficult. But the only fighter that has enough skill, is Devin Haney. But I see Devin Haney being on his bike, running more. But like I said, Devin Haney does have great offense. Let's not forget who Devin Haney is. Okay, Devin Haney is not like uh some bum. Okay, Devin Haney is fucking Devin Haney. He has one of the best jabs as a boxer. He understands distance, timing, ring generalship. He has a good ring IQ. Devin Haney. He knows how to switch it up. But now all these things I said in certain periods in fights, he was able to pull them off. Meaning, those guys really didn't have that kind of pressure on Devin Haney where it allowed him to think. And that's what I have to see. Devin Haney will shine on your ass if you give him time to think. If you allow distance and back away, he steps back, he'll counter off the back foot, do that two-step shuffle out, and Devin Haney's having his way on that night. He's going to look really good against you. And he's going to figure you out. He's too calm. He's too calm. There's not enough pressure on young Devin Haney that I've seen him have to like improvise in a fight. I've never seen Devin Haney have to improvise except the last closing rounds of the Lomachenko fight. Like in the 12th round, 11th round, Devin Haney was improvising in that round and in those fights. That's the only time I seen him. And when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, he looks a little confused. Devin Haney looked a little worried. I saw his expression on his face change. You see? So when you can apply that kind of pressure, I was like, shit, if Loma had him in that kind of trouble, like let's say the 9th round, right? Ooh, he would have been in trouble, Devin. I think young Devin was gonna be in trouble because that part of his fight game was being tested for the first time, I believe, at that level, with so much on the line. You see? So it's a different kind of moment. So Subriel Matias possesses that kind of forward pressure that when you try to you might be able to evade him for the first few rounds, but like I said, you're not going to be able to do that all around. You're going to have some offense. You got to score some points. At some point, you're going to have to stop. And that's what I have to see. And then Subriel Matias just on him, relentless. Devin Haney, he'll break him. He has the potential of breaking him. But like I said, Devin Haney also possesses the skills where he can evade all that. And it just depends. It depends. Since I've never seen Subriel Matias in a ring with a guy so skilled as a Devin Haney, and I have not seen a guy in the ring with so much pressure, power, and volume, such as a Subriel Matias. Now, when we thought the closest fighter that was going to do that kind of fight to Devin Haney was Regis Progress, and Regis Progress couldn't even get close to him. His footwork, his jab, it wasn't on that level. He might be good as a fighter because I'm not going to shit on Regis Progress to make Devin Haney look better. No. Regis Progress is a fucking champion, okay? And he's a dog. He just wasn't on Devin Haney's level. Devin Haney's a much better fighter. That's what it is, okay? So since he couldn't get close to him, like I said, Devin Haney's going to shine on your ass. When you don't got that you're letting him think too much. But Subriel is not like that. Subriel Matias, his whole fight style and his whole fight plan is to systematically break you down and look good while he's doing it. That's what he's doing in there. He's like a robot, man. And like I said, what makes him so successful are a lot of things. Are a lot of things. It's just not one thing. Okay? Because he has an iron chin. Okay? You can't pull that style off if you don't have an iron chin. Because you're gonna get cracked in the inside a lot. And the reason why I know Subriel Matias has an iron chin, because of his last 5 opponents. All those guys were killers. All of them. They were every one of them were knocking people out, this, that, and the third. Go look them up. We just watched some of them, you know, and Pedro Anaya, Jukembai, yo, the list goes on. And they all cracked them. They all cracked Subriel Matias with their best shot. And you can see in the fight when they hit him, they were like, fuck, he's still standing. You know, um, it was so shocking to most of them that as a boxer, you're trained to hit a guy hard. And if he doesn't fall, so what? Okay, I got another one for you right here. I'm going to keep giving them to you until you can't take them no more. You got a great chin, but just stay focused and oh, you want some more? Okay, pow, then this is where you got to be. And knowing that as a fighter, we're trained to do that. When you're at this level and you hit this guy with your best shot and it shocks you as a fighter that you're trained to overlook things like that. It was just that those fighters they were impressed too. They were like, that was legitimately my best punch. And it doesn't look like I even bothered this guy. The only shots that Subriel staggered, stumbled on were shots he didn't see, where that completely caught him off guard. Short side, inside shots. He didn't see him, and some he was a little staggered. I remember at the opening bell, this guy jabbed him to the stomach, and he went backwards a little. It was just off balance. Fighters have to get warmed up and stuff. But once Subriel Matias starts to get warmed up and he's in warrior mode, and he's in that mode in his mind in the fight where it's war. That's it. He's just like locked in. He's really dangerous because at that point in the fight, he's already figured out your timing, your speed. He's taken your best shot, and he's already make a decision that he's gonna take you down. And that's a dangerous spot to be in. If you can keep Matias puzzled, a little hesitant from coming in from good shots and angles, it shows that you can hit him from the outside and move around, but you're gonna have to be able to sustain it. You see, so yeah, yeah. This Liam Paro guy, he's a live dog. He's a live dog. But Subriel Matias, I just believe that he's that dude. He's that guy. And he has not shown me anything else. And until somebody, figures out the puzzle that is Subriel Matias, a lot of people have a lot to talk about. Okay, Subriel Matias not the best 140 pounder. Really, he's not the best. He's got 100% knockout ratio. Who else at 140 has 100% knockout ratio? I'll wait. How is he not the best? That means that his fighting style, nobody can get out of the fight with him. That's how effective his style is. So, long as he maintains that 100%, I have no other reason to think otherwise. And if you're asking me, what do I think is going to happen in this fight? Whether the fight's going to, end in a knockout, a TKO, go to the decision? No, I think that this fight is going to be stopped. It's going to be a no mas. Okay, they're going to throw in the white towel, and the reason why I say that is because his last 5 fights, he made all 5 fighters quit. So there isn't anything else that tells me otherwise. So I'm gonna pick. He's gonna make Liam Paro quit. Okay, so because and I understand that there's levels to this, but let's just keep this in mind. So Bria Matias is at the top level. He is fighting the top level competition. This is not a matter of oh, there's levels to this. No, he's at the top level in the sport. In fact, he has a world champion in a belt, and he is a champion. That's the highest level you can go, right? And he's fought all his mandatory, the number one guy, you know. So when I go back and I think about this, it's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. To maintain 100% knockout ratio like this, we've seen fighters in the beginning of their career get a lot of knockouts and be a front runners. You know, start off good, but as the level of competition keeps going up, they're not knocking out their opponents like that anymore. Subriel has maintained that. As the competition got stronger, he got better. And he just kept beating these guys, knocking them out. So that right there in itself is very impressive. That as your competition, it means that this whole time you were him. That's what that means. This entire time, Subriel Matias was him this whole time. That's what that means. You have no shame on losing to him. You're losing to one of the best fighters at 140, you know, of currently. You know, so he was that dude. He is. And Liam Paro has a big obstacle here. He's really confident in his ability and his skills. So we're just gonna see where that falls and how this all plays out. Excuse me. And as the fight gets closer, we're gonna talk more about this fight. I'm 100% sure on that. You know, but I wanted to address a little Devin Haney and comment on some of your comments. You know, just to yeah. I don't think any of those guys can beat him. But you know, if you let Teofimo Lopez tell it and his father, you know, they've already beaten. If you let Tio tell it, he's already beaten Matias and drove off with his belt. You know, um they're really, really like, what's up, Rob? How you doing? Thank you. Carlos, how you doing? That's a skill. That's a skill that Subriel Matias possesses. That's a skill. Subriel Matias is the kind of fighter that he thrives off a good fight. He's the definition of a fighter. Subriel Matias um, wants a fight. You know, in his head, he's the type of man that when he was younger, he probably sat down in his house and just fantasized about knocked out, dragged out fights. Like, bam, bam, you hit me, I hit you. Bam, bam, yeah, let's go. Bam, bam. You know what I mean? He was born to fight. That's Subriel Matias. And he's not in there to shy away. You know, Subriel, he wants to feel the fight. He wants to know that he is in a fight. He doesn't want to be on the outside jabbing all night, trying to counter you, set you up, take a lot of less damage, which he's starting to realize later in his career, like many fighters, that you do have to tighten up on your defense. But one thing that a lot of fighters that try to do that, they forget what got them there. And they start to try to dodge punches so much, in fact, and put up so much of a defense that they're not actually throwing when they normally should have been. And in fact, get caught with big fights trying to change that fighter from the fighter that he's not. So Brian Matias's style of fighting, which they tried to say that he went down to Mexico to develop, which is bullshit because Subriel Matias was fighting like that already before he even went down and trained with the Mexican coaches. They're just the reason why he went down there because that style caters to his style. It's the closest familiar is a Mexican style fighting. But with Subriel's style already that he was born with and their style, they're hoping to mold the best kind of style fighter, such as Subriel, what he brings to the table. See, that's what they're doing. So as he gets better with his defense, his body movement, and his head movement, that's really all you need from him because his punch selection is fine. His power is fine. His speed is fine. His speed sometimes is blinding. Subriel Matias is. It's a lot faster sometimes than you think. And that's one of his key elements, right? He hits you with fast shots at the beginning of the fight. Yes, he will, right? That's not the fastest he is. And you're thinking that you're getting Subriel's timing. He's hit you with this same speed for 3 fucking rounds. Okay? And by time you go to block that shot the next time, the faster is like 10 times faster. And you don't adjust to the speed fast enough. And he catches you. He sets you up, Subriel. Oh, he sets you up. And then before you know it, you're in all kinds of trouble. You're trying to survive. And while you're trying to survive and think about what to do because you're in trouble and clear your head, there's this guy coming after you just throwing a barrage of punches. And he's not going to give you a break, and that's Subriel. Yeah, he was supposed to fight Taylor, but due to all these politics, and then you see, but Ponce, I believe, would have beat Taylor too. Ponce would beat Taylor, I think. Yeah, Taylor's not that fighter he once was. Nah, he looks like he lost a little bit. Like his speed was a little, even his timing on when to throw a punch was off for Josh Taylor. I mean, it can be the fact that he wasn't training no more. There's fighters get to that point where they get lazy, where they believe that, you know, they can cut corners in training and not do the things that got them there. They stop doing those things and they rely just being in shape. Yeah, being in shape alone is not fighting shape. And the only way you're going to find that out to be true is when you see your competition is better than you. And it's too late. You see, and Josh Taylor, he's going to answer a lot of questions for me when he comes up against Jack Catterall and their rematch. When I get a look at Josh Taylor, I'll be able to tell you more or less whether he can go back and make a run for a title or if his title's days are over. Yeah. So we'll see. But I don't think Jack Catterall, right, as though Jack Catterall is a good fighter, I don't think Jack Catterall can beat Ponce either. I think that would be a hell of a fight. I think that's a 50-50 fight. Yeah. I don't think it would just be a one-sided fight, is what I'm saying. That it would be competition. There would be competition there. You see? So yeah. And Ponce is strong. Not Ponce, Pedro Ananya is very strong too. You know, Yeah. So I look, guys, I'm being honest with you when I tell you guys this, that Subriel Matias is the best 140-pound fighter we have currently right now. And that's the truth. You cannot judge Devin Haney on his star status of what he did at 135 pounds. That's a 135-pound weight division. The minute you step in 140, it's a new day. And the only real 140-pounder that's been here the entire time is Subriel Matias. Teofimo Lopez moved up. Isa Pitbull Cruz moved up. Devin Haney moved up. Subriel Matias has been here the entire time. He's a real 140-pounder. He has the most work at 140 pounds, and he fought the top guys at 140. No other champion has done that. The only claim to fame that Teofimo Lopez got is that he beat uh, a stripped Josh Taylor that was undefeated, with a lot of controversy coming into that fight behind him in his last performances. So he was already at a decline. Yeah, and like I said many times, that the performance that Josh Taylor puts on is gonna reflect to Tio. Yeah, if Jack Catterall comes in and wipes him down, they're gonna be like, "Yo, Tio, he was already on a decline. You didn't beat like the best version of Josh Taylor." No, you see? So, yo, and that's why I say that hands down, you can listen to these lies that Tio and his dad say. You can even listen to Bill Haney, and I'm an American too, and I love me some Devin Haney, okay? But I can tell when ploys are ploys and shit talk is shit talk, because at the end of the day, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I can go to boxing record and pull up Subriel Matias' boxing record at 140 pounds. He has a way better, impressive boxing record than any of those guys. So none of these guys can actually talk. It was pretty cool what you did against, 135, Devin Haney. You got all 4 belts. You fought big fights, big names, Loma. You got under. That's a smaller weight division. This is where the big boys are. You don't get credit for beating smaller guys at 140. No, it's not like you went backwards. Like you were fighting big guys up there and you went down to a lower weight division. And you were like, yo, I was already beating bigger guys. No, you were fighting smaller guys. You're gonna come up here talking rah rah about beating smaller guys? No, no, my man. Nah, it doesn't work that way. So he is undoubtedly the best 140 pounder we have today. Hands down. There's no question about that. Okay. And there's going to be a lot of answers. Devin Haney's going to come into this fight with Ryan Garcia. And no matter what you think about Ryan Garcia trolling him, what everything's being said, Ryan Garcia has to enter that ring on April 20th, right? And he's going to have to show the world that he is who he says he is. Ryan Garcia, I do not believe, possesses the kind of skills that can fight with a Devin Haney, but the world, look, I'm trying to tell you, I've actually seen this in boxing rings and in gyms. I've actually witnessed this. That I've seen a guy that believes, it's not that he believes. I've talked to like guys that know a lot about boxing and IQ, they answer every question. But in the ring, they just can't put it together. They have all the skills in the world, great power, just the one thing that's missing is them getting serious with the sport, and that everything just finally clicks for them. They understand angles, and it could just happen. I've actually seen this in one fight, bro. I've seen a guy go from being like, I'm talking about trash, to be a pretty decent fighter his next following fight. But that was all caused because that young man had an extensive amateur career. I'm not saying he became a better fighter overnight mysteriously. Hell no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying everything clicked for him. He was he was trained. He has experience. But for some reason, that fighter just it didn't. He only got this part of it out. And I'm just hoping that Ryan Garcia does possess that kind of speed. He has a great check hook. We all know this. He has an issue with keeping his head real in the sky. I don't like that. I didn't see that correction made on his last fight. I'm a little concerned about that going into this fight. Um, but like I said, just maybe this shit can click for him. But with all these outside distraction and him trolling, I doubt it. But I'm keeping hope alive, at least for him, because he's gonna go in there that night and he's gonna have to prove it. And Devin Haney's gonna punish this kid. Oh, he's gonna punish it because this is what Devin Haney's been waiting for that he can go out there with that kind of opponent, so that he can put on this kind of show to win the fans back. You see? And if he can win his part of the fans back, Subriel Matias already has his part of the fans, right? Because we're Warriors, Subriel fans, right? And we would invite that fight. We would welcome that fight with Devin Haney. So let's see what happens as all this unfolds and play out. Let me catch up with some of you guys. I really want to answer some of your questions here. Teal's father will have to what? See, I gotta get this shit to fuck it. Excuse my language, but like really, there's just no need to swear there. But I I did something to my chat box on my live stream. Yo, I made it like this big, right? I can't click out of it. Yo, I've been clicking on it, everything. It won't let me click out of it. It don't, I can only read one, two, three, four, five messages at a time right now. I don't know what I did. I'm gonna fix it, but I don't want to press too much, mess around, and some shit pop up on the screen. Right? Yo, it's crazy. I know if I like double click it or something, it'll pop back up like that, but now it's just not doing it. And yeah, anyway, I don't got time for this. Like, really. Yeah, but Ryan Garcia, he has to understand that these titles shots are not given to every man, and you have to take this shit seriously. And I hope that he does. There's men and women out there right now that would give fucking anything in the world to get a crack at a world title, let alone the WBC, which is probably the most bougiest belt you can ever get. If Ryan Garcia was to finally, the WBC, man, they would love to get that belt around Ryan Garcia's weight, because that will be their Oscar de la Hoya. That will be their new Oscar de la Hoya if they can accomplish that. The only way they're going to accomplish it, though, is Ryan Garcia would have to win the belt. Then they can play keep away. They'll duck all, for you. They will shelter and protect Ryan. If they could, they would legitimately strip the belt off Devin Haney and give it to Ryan Garcia without them fighting. If you let them have their way, I can guarantee you, they're looking for their next Mexican big star. Saul Canelo Alvarez is on his way out. Everybody thought that Ryan Garcia was going to be that dude. Problem is, he really never took boxing that serious and didn't fight the fights he needed to fight to make himself a better fighter. Meaning, if you keep fighting low luster, lackluster opponents, you're really not going to get that better. He went from Doug to the ultimate fight. That's what Ryan did. He went from Doug to Tank Davis. You can't do that. You got to gradually build your way to a fighter like Tank Davis so that you give yourself the best opportunity to win, not just in there surviving, getting a paycheck. It seems like Ryan Garcia's name can get him these fights, and he's content with getting a paycheck. But the fans are not going to support that shit. You see, and there's other people that had big plans for that kid if he did his part. Ryan Garcia needed to do his part and win those fights. He didn't win the Tank Davis fight, and he's not going to win this fight right here, I don't think. So the WBC and a lot of other people, they really had their eye on Ryan Garcia, but I just think he fumbled the bag. He didn't do his part, and he hasn't really. Well, for the most part, Ryan Garcia can say everything he wants. He can say, "How do you know? You don't know me. You don't know me, how I train." No, you're right. I don't. But you're still not winning those kind of fights. You still haven't won a world champion. I don't know you, but I can tell you what you haven't done. You see? I can tell you what Devin Haney did. And still, all the way up to this point in your careers, you mean to tell me, Ryan Garcia, you have not secured a world title? Out of all you young boys that were the four horsemen coming up, everybody but you got a belt. Even Esau Pitbull Cruz got a belt, Ryan. That's the truth. While you guys were all coming up, none of you guys had belt. Tank Davis got a belt. Devin Haney got a belt. Teofimo Lopez got a belt. And multiple. Out of the four horsemen, Ryan, you are the only one that has not even fought for a world title. Not even once. I mean, you could have at least fought for a belt and then lost. You didn't even do that. So, nah, he wasn't ready for Tank, bro. Listen, Ortiz Jr., Virgil, that's another Oscar De La Hoya fighter that Oscar De La Hoya himself, you can see, is being real thin with now. He's Virgil Ortiz, Oscar De La Hoya for a long time was really tooting Virgil Ortiz's horn. And now Oscar De La Hoya is starting to ask Virgil, yo, I can get you these fights, but when are you gonna say yes? There was a time where Oscar De La Hoya could have had him fight Terrence Crawford, and he denied it. Then they went and looked at that fight, a possibility again, denied it. Virgil Ortiz was his mandatory for a long time. All he had to do was fill the paperwork, and there was no way around it. But Virgil Ortiz's side never signed the paperwork. I can't force you to be his mandatory. The whole world can know it. The WBC can world know it. The WBO can know. Everybody in the world can know it. But unless Virgil Ortiz's team fills out the paperwork and submits that they have interest and that they are petitioning for their shot at the title, they don't have to grant it to you. You're not asking for it. Meaning you're basically telling them you're not ready for that kind of fight yet. Without coming out publicly and saying it. That's what you would do. Just don't fill out the paperwork. So Virgil Ortiz now is coming into a fight against a guy. The guy I looked up, I hope I'm wrong on this. I hope I looked it up fast, even though I looked it up 3 times, double checked it and triple checked it. Somehow I hope I'm wrong. This guy he's fighting hasn't won a fight in almost a decade. He's got like loss, 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 loss. Who is this guy he's fighting? And that's what I mean about Virgil Ortiz Jr. That if you're going to claim to be one of the best fighters in the world, yeah, you're going to look good against those guys. You're going to look great. You're better than them. Why don't you step up and fight at a higher level? Fight some of the bigger guys, and then I can take him seriously. Because from what I see from Virgil Ortiz, he's good. He's good. He's strong. He's got a good pop in his shot. What's the problem? I believe in his skills. I like Virgil. Why isn't he fighting these fights? Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes I don't know about. Maybe. I don't know. But you can't be undefeated this long, be somebody's mandatory or next guy and not fight him and not fight all the top guys. And I got to take you serious. Like, no, he's that dude. No, he's a great fighter that needs to prove himself. That's what Virgil is. He's a good fighter that needs to win those fights. And when's he feel like he's ready? Look how old he is. Is he ever gonna be ready? Because his coach came out and said he wasn't ready for the fight. And I can respect that. If you admit you're not ready, you're okay, you're not ready. He's coming out. What do you want him to do? He needs to get better. This is 4 years later. If he ain't ready now, he ain't never gonna be ready. You need to take that chance, and push your fighter in that direction. That's all. I just want him to fight better opponents and prove that he is that dude. He's claiming to be that dude. They're talking him up like he's that dude. Well, then show me. Show me you're that dude. That's all. That's all I'm saying. What is this? The WBA president claimed that Virgil ducked, and it's total BS. They're corrupt. But when it comes to Bud, we're supposed to believe them. Okay, here, check this out, right? Let's not say, because neither of us are in the room. Let's not say that he ducked him. Okay? Let's not say he ducked him. Let's just go with the facts. What can't be disputed. Was he or was he not Terrence Crawford's mandatory to his belt? And could he or could he have put in the paperwork to make him fight him? Or Ortiz had that. See, it wasn't Terrence Crawford's way. You feel me? Terrence Crawford was already the champion. He doesn't have to put in paperwork to fight Ortiz. Ortiz won all the fights he needed to win to become the number one ranked opponent. Okay? Let's say that Ortiz did not duck Terrence Crawford. Why was you his mandatory, his number one rank for over 2.5 years? You never fought him. You were legitimately on the ranking system, his number one. Every time and time again, someone else fought Terrence Crawford, not the number one guy, Virgil Ortiz Jr. So if you're saying that Terrence Crawford, let's just say hypothetically, that Terrence Crawford was avoiding Ortiz, right? Let's just say he was avoiding Virgil Ortiz, and Terrence Crawford, behind the scenes, secretly wasn't giving Virgil the fight, and that it was actually Terrence Crawford that was ducking Virgil. Let's say that, hypothetically. The way Virgil Ortiz could have killed all that, just fill in the paperwork and submit it. Or they would strip Terrence Crawford of his belt and give it to Virgil for not fighting him. Period. So even if Terrence Crawford, and everybody's saying Terrence Crawford didn't give him an opportunity for 2.5 years, Virgil, all he had to do was go, I want a shot. And there was nothing Terrence Crawford could do. Now what? Now what? I'm not gonna say that, okay, Virgil ducked him, right? Maybe he wasn't ready. Okay, cool. He's not ready. When is he gonna be ready? For anybody. For anybody. For anybody, any champion. I don't give a fuck who it is. Doesn't have to be Terrence Crawford. When is he gonna be ready to make that move? Look how old he is now. See? That's just that. Look, I don't go by what fucking Terrence Crawford fans say about him. They're gonna lie. They're Terrence Crawford fans. Those are fans that are only fans to one fighter. On this boxing channel, I support all boxing. I'm critical to a lot of the situations, but I love all boxers. I have no horse in the race. I love Virgil Ortiz like I love Terrence Crawford. I'm just telling you the situation. Doesn't make Virgil Ortiz any less of a fighter. He just needs to prove it. As fighters go on through their career, some fighters prove it, some fighters avoid it. But the truth is in the pudding. You're gonna see. Like I always say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And the number games is Terrence Crawford had that belt for 2.5 years, man, and he just never fought him. And then look at the competition he fought, and then the reaction from his boxer promoter, Golden Boy, Oscar. That's what did it for me. When in that interview they were talking to Oscar De La Hoya, and Oscar De La Hoya was like, listen, and Virgil Ortiz. I'm sorry if I say Hill, guys. Look past that. You know who I'm talking about. Virgil Ortiz Jr. Is his fighter. But Oscar De La Hoya really doesn't understand this ducking era like this, where he comes from an era of gladiators. Oscar De La Hoya fought the who's who throughout his career. He's a 5 division world champion, Oscar. Or is he a 6? I think Oscar might be a 6. Mayweather's a 5. Manny Pacquiao's a 6. I think Oscar's a 6 too, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta go back and check his belts. Because I remember in that era, they were just counting the belts for everybody. Now that the sport's starting to clean up and a lot of things and curtains are starting to be unveiled, we're starting to be like, no, no, you gotta take that one out. No. So But no, Oscar De La Hoya with in an interview, you could see his frustration with the Virgil Ortiz Jr. situation. And Oscar De La Hoya has publicly come out and said, "Yo, we want that fight against Terrence Crawford." And then all of a sudden, when he goes back to the Ortiz camp, his coach tells him he's not ready. He's not ready for him. You know, and I'm just like, when the fuck is he gonna be ready? Like you gotta come on, man, push him. You know, but look, there's a flip side to that coin. If he's not ready, he's not ready. And if his coach sees that, I can't hate him for that. I'm not gonna force him to fucking make him take the fight, but at the same time, there has to be. I hope that he makes a move because Virgil Ortiz is an exciting fighter. He comes to fight. He's in your face type fighter. He's at times he can be fan pleasing at times. But like I said, it was with these kind of level guys. I need to see him at another level, in the game, but I respect him as a fighter. I'm not sure what happens to anybody in their home life, or if he had some, issues and he had to take time off and regroup himself and come back and work his way back up. See, none of those things I know. So they can be a lot of outside factors for that young man. And now he's starting to get serious back into it. They could have been a lot of things, but I think that he's a worthy opponent. I just would like to see him fight bigger names, bigger fights in the future. So yeah. I know, man, man. You respect all fighters. You just love yours more. Yeah, yeah, baby. I like everything you guys have to say tonight. You guys are crazy. Carlos. Carlos be starting it up, baby. Look, guys, we have a lot of exciting fights. And that's what, for me anyway, what makes a fight so, it's the moment leading into the fight. It's the unknown for me. All the shit talking is out of the way. We're at fight night. They're walking to the ring. The butterflies start to enter and fill my belly. The anxiety starts to creep up my back. And all these visions start to enter my mind of the moments and the possibilities and the what ifs. With every exchange and every situation and every hard punch land, you think that your fighter's going to go down as they battle through in the fight. And, it could be one of those times where they bring you out of your seat. You know, I love those kind of fights. This is why I live for boxing. This is why I watch boxing. It is the whole experience of watching the fight live, whether you're there or sitting at home or wherever you're watching, but on the day that the fight is streaming live, it's something that you've never seen and you're about to witness it for the first time. um, the sheer, will of both men wanting to win, and neither man wanting to take a step backwards, and when those kind of knockouts come out of nowhere, I live for that shit. I live for that shit. It's something inside of me that, and then no sooner that the fight is over, I'm like a junkie with it. I want another fight. I need another one. I need another fight quick. Right? Right? Uh I it's you know, it's like kind of like Marcus Aurelius in the movie Gladiator. He was, "Are you not entertained? Do you want more?" And I'm that fan. Yes, I want more. More blood. Bring more blood. You know what I mean? I'm that guy, you know. But I also love the sweet science. And the one thing I do not let blind me is one man fighting on one night and having a great performance and judging him against every man in the world the same way. That's not me. I understand that there's something that comes to fighting, and that you don't go into every fight. You shouldn't go into every fight the same way. There are special fighters in this world, and when you see that, uh, you really appreciate it, you know, such as men like this and Terrence Crawford, really skilled guys. I like to fight against Tank Davis and Ghost Martin because I believe for the first time, Tank Davis is really fighting a really athletic type fighter, you know, a fighter that will be in your face, that's not scared of you already. Like most of the guys that went into the ring with Tank earlier of his career had already lost the fight before they even got in the ring. They were scared to death of that dude, you know. So they they weren't fighting him. You know, there was one guy he cracked one time, literally like in 10 seconds. He just folded, you know. I know he took the fight on short notice or whatever, but Jesus, you know, there wasn't a lot of guys that were standing up to him, you know, and they didn't match him. In this fight with Frank the Ghost Martin, Frank the Ghost Martin is he's a hell of a specimen himself. You know, he's real athletic. He's got good movement. I'm not sure if his ring IQ is up there as a fighter as Javante Tank Davis. Javante Davis in certain situations and his ability to pull the trigger real fast and find those openings is higher than Frank the Ghost Martin's. Yes, it is. Frank the Ghost Martin has a good selection of punches, and he's not afraid to pull the trigger. It's just that he's waiting for the dance to go the same way when to pull the trigger. That's how Frank is doing it. Or he'll sit back off the back foot and try to counter you. That's how he'll do it. But creating your opportunities and seeing the openings like Tank does, that's a little bit more different. It's a higher level. Now, is Frank the Ghost Martin gonna allow Tank Davis to get comfortable and to do just that? Time will tell. Frank the Ghost Martin has to keep that kind of pressure on Tank Davis where that he's not allowing him just to fight his own fight and do whatever he wants. At a certain point, Mario Barrio was doing great in that fight, but his training didn't hold up. He started to fall apart where he couldn't sustain the level that he was sustaining against Tank Davis in the earlier rounds. It started to like his guard started to go down more. He was standing more in front of Tank Davis as the rounds were going on, and he was winning the fight. But Tank, he was relentless. He was relentless. And Tank was waiting for this moment. He knew this moment was going to come in the fight. And Tank was just waiting for it. And it's not like, you know, fighters anticipate moments like this, but to capture on that moment. It was like Tank Davis is confident, never swayed. Losing in the fight, down on all three scorecards. He had no intentions on the fight going to the scorecard. No intentions. His face expression never changed. He wasn't concerned. Nothing. He didn't care what he had no intentions. And that's superior mindset. That's staying the course, knowing what you're doing, reading what's going on in the ring. He's reading Mario Barrio. Sometimes you can train and for a fighter for the fight to go this way, but the fight's not going your way, and he's probably better than what you thought. So what do you got to do? You got to make adjustments, and you got to read what's going on in the ring, when and where to switch it up. Tank Davis prepared for that fight, but he was also reading Mario Barrios' body language. He was reading what was going on there, and that's what I mean about his ring IQ. It's really high. So so as far as like, you know, punch volume, athletic wise, Frank the Ghost Martin is really good. He's up for the challenge. I heard one time they did spar against each other, which, you know me, I don't count any sparring. Sparring means absolutely zero to me. Yeah, if you think you're gonna go inside of a ring and because of the fact that you beat a guy in sparring, good fucking luck. You're gonna soon find out that that guy's not that guy in sparring, and sparring is nothing like fight night. You know, it's just those gloves are just so much bigger in sparring. You don't got 8 ounce gloves on. You know, you don't got a head pad. You know, you're free to do what you want in sparring. But the one thing about sparring as champions, once you become a champion, it's fucking difficult sometimes to get sparring partners because every sparring partner you get wants to fucking kill you. Yeah, because they want to see how they match up against the champion. So you're basically in there fighting every fucking sparring time. You know, you got to get a kid that is willing to listen and learn and train with you and help you develop as a fighter. That's what you're supposed to do in sparring. But some of these kids will show up to your camp knowing you're the champion in round one. Just hop all over you like, yo, calm down. We're fucking supposed to be sparring. And the whole time him going there, I'm going to spar against the champion. I'm going to spar, you know, and you want to see if you belong, but you can't really judge it like that with sparring. You know, you can, yeah, you could see if you belong, you know, but you're going to have to develop yourself as a fighter. So let me read some of these messages here, guys. Oh, my thing is moving now. Good. What? The PBC is blessing. A blessing and a curse. A blessing because they pay fighters big bags, and a curse because they give big bags to fighters that didn't deserve it. Yeah, but it's all a business, Papi. Bam bam. We talked about this. Boxing is a business disguised as a sport. They'll give them guys the big bag because they make a big bag off those guys that are less deserving of an opportunity. That's why I thank God for like organizations such as the IBF, you know, which they cater to the other guy, the other side of the street. The WBC don't give a fuck about the the, the lower fighters. They don't, and they don't got no accord. I mean, no. They're like not trying to hide it. The WBC, they don't give a fuck. You know, they're just like, yo, we are who we are, and if you don't have our belt, you don't have it. But they also don't acknowledge the number one contender, the number two. It's whoever has a big name for them. Yeah. And that's why I always said they would love to get that belt around Ryan Garcia. And believe me, they have tried. They've already tried. Hasn't Ryan Garcia already won like WBC silver out of nowhere? And like the WBC, every probably fucking belt you have ever seen with Ryan Garcia, except that one other interim one, right, was a WBC. The WBC has been trying to put him there. Ryan Garcia has just not been showing up. Like, for instance, going into the Tank Davis fight, Ryan Garcia had a fight scheduled, and Tank Davis had a fight scheduled for tune-up fights to to their mega fight, right? Tank Davis fought Edwin De Los Santos, the Dominican fighter that he was a champion at 130 pounds. Remember? What did Ryan Garcia do? He pulled out on his fight and said, "No, I'm going to go right to the main fight," and he quit. He did some shit like that. Ryan Garcia is just not fighting and doing what they would like him to do. They're basically telling him, kid, it's going to be tough, but if you can get there, we'll get you there. Listen, they probably would have did some shit like this with Ryan Garcia, right? They'd have made up some excuse to strip the champion, made the belt a vacant, and here comes Ryan Garcia out of left field fighting for a vacant world title, right? And they probably would have set, put him in the right position to do all that. Ryan Garcia just didn't do his part. And that's the God's honest truth. They've been trying to work with him. They're the kid's hard to work with, as you can see. Ask Oscar De La Hoya how childish antics. It was like babysitting a fucking kid. Are you serious? You're arguing with Bernard Hopkins, your own boxing promoters, and you guys are like, this Ryan kid, he was just so young and immature at those times. And with all this money, what does money do to people? It allows you to become the asshole you always wanted to be. That's what money does for you. It allows you to be that asshole, to speak freely and say what's on your mind. You don't give a fuck, you're rich. The fuck I care about you. The reason what keeps me and a lot of people cordial with each other is that I got to see you the next day. I got to go outside. We live in the same neighborhood. We eat at the same places. All right? Ryan Garcia doesn't eat where you eat. He doesn't live where you live. You know, he's going to say what he want to say. That's rich talk right there. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's what money does to some people. It really allows you to be the asshole you always wanted to be. That's it. Some people get money and they show their ass, don't they? You know them people. So yeah, that's what I believe. Holy shit balls, guys. That's funny. I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but Subriel Matias was in my live chat. I just realized this. He was actually in our chat. Yeah, go up. This guy right here that was asking all these questions, I was wondering who this dude was. Haney is a hype job. Matias a real king of the 140. That's Subriel Matias himself. Texting, is that him? No, that's not his little sticker thing. I thought that was him. Nah, Subriel's Instagram thing post, he's got like a Puerto Rican flag because I like subscribe and I follow him. And from far away, that looked like the same little dude. But you know, I'm like looking at it. I'm like, maybe that's not him. Maybe that's not the same character. But it has the same colors and everything. So I was like, oh shit, was he in my thing? Because I know his emblem. But nah, no, that's not him. I don't think so. I gotta get it to pop up. I can't get it to fucking pop up. Later on, when I see it, if it's fucking him, I'm gonna be laughing. That would be cool, right? That would have been real cool. I'll check it later when I can because it is so fucking. My thing is so small. My chat thing, it's really like I can't really see it. So, but it looks like his color thing when I started to move the chats around. Now it's frozen again. It won't even move for me. Yeah, this is the shit I gotta go through. Well, anyway, fight fans, listen. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. It was an amazing episode. You know where every fight starts? Round one. Okay. So it was an amazing episode. We broke down and I answered a lot of questions. I hope you guys got something out of this episode like I do. I always enjoy talking boxing. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Please give this channel a like on your way out. And like always, I'm on to the next one after this one here at Round One Sports Talk. Family, peace. See you tomorrow.